Chapters 9 and 10. "See," Darla whispered, her voice trembling. "I told you they were real." Freddie moved the light back and forth. The monster was on the other side of the fence, and all they could see was its shadowy form. Its claw scraped the fence again, making the 3 first-graders to jump. Even Mr. Chewy flinched and stopped chewing gum. "Wait a minute," Freddie said. Bravely, he took a step closer to the fence. "Freddie," Chipper hissed, "what are you doing? That thing is going to eat you." Freddie didn't say anything. Instead, he took yet another step forward. "That's not a monster," he suddenly cried. "It's a bush." He walked quietly over to the fence and shined the light on the other side. "See," he said, "it's just a bush." The wind was causing a branch to scrape against the fence. "I knew that," Chipper said. "I was just waiting for you to figure it out." "You were not," Darla said. "You thought it was a super scary night thingy." "Did not. Did too. Did not. Did too." Freddie walked back to the tent. He knelt down, pushed open the flap, and scrambled inside. Darla and Chipper followed. The 3 sat in a circle around the popcorn bowl. Each clawed a handful of popcorn and began munching. Chipper's turn to read," Freddie said, and he handed him the scary book. And Chipper started to read. Freddie and Darla listened. They ate popcorn. Mr. Chewy, he chewed gum. None of them were aware, however, that when they had left the tent, something had gotten inside. Something they couldn't see. Something that was only seconds away from attacking. There they are. Chapter 10. The popcorn bowl was almost empty, and Chipper was almost finished reading when it happened. He was at a very, very scary part in the book. It was so scary that Darla and Freddie held hands. Suddenly, the bloodthirsty creature attacked, and it bit Chipper's cheek. "Ah!" Chipper cried, so loudly that Freddie and Darla nearly jumped out of their skins. Chipper dropped the book, knocking over the popcorn bowl. Both of his hands went to his neck. "Ouch!" he cried. "That hurt!" "What?" Freddie asked. "What was it?" A mosquito," Chipper said. "It bit me on the neck." Freddie shined the light on Chipper's neck. Sure enough, there was a small droplet of blood where the insect had bitten him. "I think you're alive," Freddie said. He shined the light around the tent until he found a large mosquito on the tent flap. Freddie swatted at it and missed. Instead, the insect flew outside through the small crack between the 2 flaps. "Next time, let's bring the bug spray," Chipper said, rubbing his neck. "Why, that thing could have sucked a gallon of blood out of me." "Make sure there aren't any more," Darla said. "I don't want any of those things biting me. I'm only a little girl, and I don't have a lot of blood to lose. You know?" Freddie swept the flashlight beam around the tent. When he was sure that there was no more mosquitoes, he picked up the scary book. "My turn," he said, opening the book. "I'll find another good story." He flipped through the pages until he found another ghost story. "Hey, this one sounds cool," he said. "It's about a ghost that hunts an old schoolhouse in a small town called Great Bear Heart. It says here that it's a true story." "Ghost stories aren't true," Freddie said. "They're just made up, like super scary night thingies." Darla glared at him. "You're just afraid to admit that they're real," she said. "Am not," Chipper shot back. "There's no such thing. Is to, is not, is to, is not, and I'll prove it." "How?" Darla asked. "Yeah," Freddie said. "How are you going to prove it?" "Well," Chipper began, "we've been sitting here in this tent reading scary stories. But the scariest things that have happened to us haven't been in the book. Plus, the things that scared us weren't even scary. Think about it. We've been scared by false teeth, a rabbit, 2 fireflies, a bush, and a mosquito." "Yeah," Darla said. So, those aren't things we should be afraid of. As a matter of fact, there is nothing in the yard to be afraid of. Not even super scary night thingies." You'll change your mind when you see one, Darla warned. Chipper rolled onto his knees. He crawled toward the tent flap. He pushed the tent flap open. I'll prove that there isn't anything in the yard to be afraid of, he said. I'll go walk around without the flashlight. And with that, he ducked out of the tent as quick as could be and vanished. Ooh, he shouldn't do that, Darla said nervously. He'll be okay, Freddie said. They waited and listened. Chipper's voice called out to them. He was far away, on the other side of the yard. See, he shouted, his voice echoing through the neighborhood. There's nothing out here. Nothing to be afraid of at all. I don't think. His voice was suddenly cut off, and he started screaming. And that's the end of chapter 10.